Alright, I'm live. Checking YouTube. Yes, I'm live. This is day number 30. That's crazy. That's crazy. Day number 30. 30 days straight. Every day. Every single day. Sometimes for 6 hours. Once. 6 hours a day. Mostly for 3 hours a day. Streaming how I built a business. Now, I think because it's 30 days, it's time to reflect on what I learned in those 30 days. It's not 30 months. It's not 2 years. I haven't got like super huge following. I don't have millions of views, but I think that I have learned something interesting in those 30 days. Let's wait until people gonna join a little bit, and I'm gonna open my chat here so that I can see. Yeah. Okay. So yesterday I had something like a day off. Something to this. Another day, let's go. Yes, let's go. Day 30. Day 30, which is crazy. Day 30. I never planned for 30 days. I have even never planned streaming. I even never thought about streaming 31 days ago. I literally got an idea of streaming exactly the day where I tried streaming. I saw this guy, Amin, right? He's known. He's known for streaming his journey. So I saw this guy, and I saw his stream. I saw that some people watching. I saw what he's building. I loved the idea that he's showing what he's building. And I thought, wait a second, why don't I do the same? And quite frankly, I was searching for quite a long time on a format where I can have much more longer interaction with people. Because I am the main way I interact, my whole audience is on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is good, but LinkedIn is like TikTok. So LinkedIn, let's take my last post, for example. Let's have a look. The last post. So the last post has 23,000 people saw the last post, which is awesome. I really appreciate all the support of people who are there. But the thing is, out of this 23,000 people, nope, this is not in distraction. Let's say 23,000 people. They probably saw it for 4 seconds on average, right? 4 seconds on average, divided by 60, and someone is calling me. And I'm gonna take the call. No, I'm not gonna take the call. Missed call, whatever. So this is the amount of minutes. Yo, Big Pop, welcome. This is the amount of minutes. What's up? People have spent basically with me or interacting with me out of this post. Now, if we take my super small YouTube channel, where is it? Come on, go here. Let's go and see what is the statistic there. Analytics and watch time in hours. So the watch time is 700 hours. It is insane. It is so much more than in any other format. And I already had this consideration. I already was searching for a format where I can interact with people much more, where I can produce something more long, something a little bit longer than just LinkedIn posts or TikToks. So basically, LinkedIn is a TikTok of the industry, like of professional industry. That's the thing. Yeah, so I think I found the format. LinkedIn is a hellhole. I know that people. Hi, hi, Code with Anish. Hey, I know that people are shitting on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is awesome. Like, I don't understand why people shitting on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is fucking awesome. Like, if you want to build a business, like something, for example, if you want to promote your services for developers or something, LinkedIn is awesome. Because all the developers, they have LinkedIn. And guess what? The competition on LinkedIn platform is not as high as on X, Twitter, as on Twitter, for example, right? So I think LinkedIn makes a lot of sense. So people who are, there's a whole community on Reddit who are shitting on LinkedIn. Do you use LinkedIn for the growth? Yes, LinkedIn is my main platform where I am. But I'm a little bit afraid, so I don't know, I just happen to be that I'm posting something on LinkedIn and people like it. I don't have any super like thought strategy there that, oh, I'm gonna now grow it and then it's gonna be. But I'm consistent. I'm writing every week, at least 2 posts every week, and I've been consistent for the last year. And it helps me growing. Helps my business. And not helps my business. I have my whole business from LinkedIn. If not LinkedIn, I wouldn't have a business. That's the thing. If you can call what I have a business, I guess you can. Yeah, but LinkedIn awesome. In a lot of cases, when we shit on something, it actually prevents us from growing. So don't shit on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is awesome. I love LinkedIn. And I'm gonna be writing on LinkedIn for quite time. So I'm not going anywhere from LinkedIn. The problem though, when you focus on just one platform, should I start posting LinkedIn for the get custom for the B2B software? Absolutely. You should. I mean, it kind of also depends if your audience is there. Like, what is your B2B software? If your B2B software, not personal. Yeah. I mean, the catch with the LinkedIn though, that you should do it from your page, I think. Because I don't think that I know only one successful like company page. The hellhole of LinkedIn is the people who post about their life is clearly false and they make it seem like that. Yeah, well, I mean, so look, you can find a lot of things that are bad about LinkedIn. You can also find those things about YouTube. Like, I don't think it brings anything to focus on what's wrong with the platform. There's a lot that's wrong with the platform. Example, very good example. Whenever someone tries to add me here in the network, I have to manually go and accept each individual like one by one. This is so crazy. If I get sometimes when the post goes viral, you can get like 100 people requesting you basically to follow you. You have to click on the accept 100 times. And it's so buggy. You're clicking there, sitting for 5 minutes, accepting, accept. This is so bad. All the AI stuff that they have is very bad. And the biggest problem with LinkedIn, and especially for people like me who have the whole business on LinkedIn, is that you depend on one platform. You don't own the audience. You cannot own the audience, right? But the thing is that between me and directly contacting someone, there's algorithm in place. So I have to either find ways to comply with the algorithm, or I just basically put my whole business on the hands of the algorithm, which is very dangerous. It's very dangerous, and I don't want to do that. And once LinkedIn algorithm had a bug, not bug, glitch, I don't know, where you basically post something and no one sees that, and it's been for 2 or 3 days, and it's been crazy. I don't wanna rely on it. I really don't want. So now I'm trying to build also other stuff like emails and this YouTube channel, because relying on one platform, that's not good. And the same goes for also people who rely just on YouTube. That's also not good. So yeah, but LinkedIn is awesome. So, and the thing is, because competition on LinkedIn, and there's not much of good content on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is awesome. I love LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is also good practice in writing, in copywriting. So LinkedIn is good. So the only one successful page of the company that I know is this one, Salesforce ban. So they're really good. I mean, Salesforce band, they're in general awesome. So, okay, what do they have? They have here sales, they have here some kind of webinar, and they're posting here. And this is an example. So, whenever you, for example, on LinkedIn, let's say you want to post something on LinkedIn. If you're just going to post a link to your article like this, it's not going to work. And we can see it by only 6 people liking it. When was it? 2 hours, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. But in general, we can see that this is not a crazy engagement here. Whenever you post something that is native for the platform, like a carousel here, the PDF one, this is native. So this is the format that people are used to on LinkedIn. This is something that that people expect to see in their feed. As soon as you post it, you get that much traction, right? This is a lot. This is a lot for LinkedIn. That's a lot. So yeah, you not only you have to post something that is LinkedIn specific formatting, you also have to post it in a high quality stuff, so people should actually like it, and you also have to post it in the way that they would share it with their colleagues, because it's a professional network. So you don't want to post selfies there, right? You want to post something that people are gonna like and maybe share with the colleagues. That's the thing. Yeah, this is my short masterclass on LinkedIn. Maybe at some point I'm gonna just record a course or something on LinkedIn, because I'm really passionate about about this thing. Oops, that's not something that I wanted to show. And probably also not this one. What I wanted to show is to go to Excalibur. And I want to reflect on 30 days. So imagine 30 days. 30 days. Not 3 days. Not 3 days. 30 days. Streaming every day. Imagine that. Crazy. I still can't believe that it's actually true. That's quite crazy thing here. So here's what I learned. The biggest thing that I learned is, let me make it like this. So the biggest thing that I learned is that intensity matters a lot. You can basically do whatever you want, right? You can post on LinkedIn, you can post on Twitter, you can post on Instagram, but the intensity that you approach the thing with, they matter more than what exactly do you do. So if you're intense about YouTube, which is streaming every day, is quite an intense thing, I think you will find some kind of success. And then the success gonna vary, right? So it depends what are your goals, what metrics, how you measure the success, right? Another thing that I learned, that audience, and I mean, I knew it. I wouldn't say that I learned it. I would say that this was just another confirmation for me that audience doesn't matter that much. And what I mean by that is that not audience, let's say views or subs. So subscribers, views, all of these things, they don't matter. And this is for me another, I would say, just another confirmation for that concept. So imagine you have 100 subscribers, but all of these 100 subscribers, or you have an email list, and all of these 100 subscribers, they are CEO of well-known companies, of Fortune company, like, I don't know, CEO of the 10 of the 100 biggest companies, right? That's quite a valuable list to have, and that's quite a valuable audience to have. versus you have 10,000 of kids subscribe to you. Doesn't matter at all. So also depends how you of course measure if you measure your success in subscribers, revenue, whatever. So all of this doesn't matter that much. Is my internet bad again? Is my bad internet? I think they probably wait until the work week begins and then they start downgrading. Yeah, I think my internet is bad again. Nice. That's something that, well, I really hate it. Fuck the internet. Let me try to fix it. I had really good internet for the last couple of days, but I guess okay. I hope you still can follow what I say. I hope you still can understand me. So this is this is that I still believe in, and okay. So intensity matters. View sub don't matter that much. Okay, let's wait until I don't know. Let's see. Maybe now it's gonna get better. My OBS basically jumps like crazy from red to green. Okay, anyway. So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the channel so far. Another thing that um I don't I don't have a plan. And this is funny because I watched this guy Amin again, and he has like a clear plan what he's gonna do with the YouTube channel. What is his idea? I don't have any plan for this YouTube channel. Like I don't even have a Discord. I don't have any thoughtful 10 steps ahead thing. The only thing that I want to do with this channel is I want to show for someone how how a business getting built, and I want to do it on purpose in a very raw manner. I on purpose don't create high quality algorithm specific videos because I want to show the unedited version of how basically a business getting built. And maybe there's gonna be an example of how a business fails. Maybe it's gonna be an example of how the business succeeds. Um, but I wish I had this type of streams when I started. Like that would inspire me so much. Let's say 5 years ago, I would be. This is something that I was missing, and I know that if I was missing such streams about how a business getting built, I know that other people will be missing or missing right now those things too. How how a business is built. yeah. So besides showing how business getting built, I don't have super plan for this channel. How many subscribers you had on your first day on stream? I don't remember. I think it was around 20 or something. It's basically like friends that I have sent my YouTube channel. I had a few videos before I started streaming, so I had I had a few videos back then, um, but it wasn't that much. So first I started first with podcast, right? So 2 months ago, you see, 2 months ago, I started with a podcast, and I love the podcast. So the podcast is really really nice. I love connecting with people on the podcast. I might at some point continue doing it, and I might at some point also create a podcast. Or here, 1 year ago, I started with just me talking here, so I didn't have that many subscribers. Um, the thing about podcast though, it's quite time consuming to produce, and I feel like that whenever I spend time on producing videos, it is kind of losing. It's kind of pointless because do you think your LinkedIn audience help in your YouTube channel? I didn't share my YouTube on LinkedIn, so no one knows on LinkedIn. I mean, people know because people can still the algorithm gets still recommends. The algorithm on YouTube is very smart. Um, but I didn't share it on LinkedIn. I didn't share it on LinkedIn, and it doesn't matter. Like you can grow without sharing on LinkedIn. And I wouldn't say all organic growth. So what I did is commenting on other people, um, connecting with other people, and I also have sent my YouTube channel to my students, which now I have around 10 students probably. So I sent maybe to 10, 15 people YouTube channel. They subscribe, they watch a little bit, and that's how algorithm knew how to start and what people to recommend it. But I feel like the people who are watching my streams are way different from people who are following me on LinkedIn. I feel like it is because on LinkedIn I am posting about Salesforce only, and here is more like kind of like the kitchen of how it's getting done, everything behind the scenes. Um, I probably should share my YouTube though, commenting on other videos or live streams on other videos. Yeah. Um, no focus. This is something that goes. This is because I don't have a plan for this YouTube channel, and I think people who are watching me here are completely different from actually. First, this is not my core. This is not my audience that I could in some way monetize. Right? It's not. Those are not Salesforce streams, which kind of very strange, because like what am I actually doing with those streams? Like why am I trying to build a business, or what? If you try to build a business, why don't you just spend this time on doing sales for streams? Quite a fair question, right? If you don't have any plan for this YouTube channel, why are you even doing this? Like that's like very strange thing that I'm doing, but I love it. I have no idea why I'm doing this. I have no idea what's gonna happen, but I love it. I love it. I had so much fun in the last 30 days. And I have learned so much from streaming. If not streaming, I wouldn't I definitely would lose out of things. Like streaming has helped me a lot. So I don't yeah, that those are kind of my thoughts about it. No focus. No focus, and the problem is that YouTube and my business are separate. Are separate. And there's nothing bad in having such a hobby, right? You can have a hobby of streaming, but be a developer, and then so that can be as a hobby. But the problem is that my main focus should go now not in the hobbies, because I need to build a business so I have some money to live normal life. That's the thing. So I kind of defocus myself a little bit with this YouTube channel. And one of the part why those things happening is because I am very impulsive. Whenever I have an idea about something, I just immediately go and do it. Um, I had an idea to start streaming, and 1 hour after I opened the first stream, I think I recorded the video instead of streaming. So I recorded the video. So that was almost basically the same day, and I didn't have any plan, didn't have any thought, and that's how I started all the things that I have started so far. Is it a good thing? I don't know. I'm very I feel like I'm a bit chaotic. I'm a bit um not focused on the main things, but I kind of feel that this YouTube channel is something. So I'm not so sure what about this YouTube channel, but I kind of feel that I'm into something here. So I I not only YouTube channel. So quite frankly, it's not only YouTube channel. It's YouTube channel plus Twitch. Plus Twitch. There is something behind this live interaction with people. There is something behind very unedited videos. No need to overthink or procrastinate. Just do it, then see how it goes. Yeah, I mean that's true. Just do it and see how it goes. But I think it can be also your curse, because if you try too many things at the same time, you are kind of you're not gonna be good at anything, right? So not only you need to try a lot of different things, you also need to, and that's for me, I also need to learn to stick to things. I am very easy in starting things and abandon them. Podcast, for example, started podcast, abandoned after what, 7 episodes. With streaming, I think I went actually quite far. I 30 days is good. So 30 days is good, and I love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy the interaction. There's something behind it. Like the connection that I have here with some people is much deeper than any other type of connections. Maybe I should promote my YouTube channel on LinkedIn actually. Should we watch a video? I think it's gonna be a really good one. I like this guy. I follow him on Twitter, and it's okay. You got to keep trying things until you feel like, yep, this one. I feel like YouTube is the one. Like I feel like that I YouTube slash Twitch, like the streaming. I feel like it's something cool. So the idea that I have in my mind is that why don't we have people who stream about business? I like the amount of time I spend on listening to business podcasts is insane. The amount of time, basically the only things that I'm watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify are podcast stuff. Why don't we have people who are streaming the same thing? And this is what I want to do for now. But I still don't have any like super solid plan for that. But we do have a lot of people who are streaming coding, but they don't stream or they don't do the marketing part. That's the thing. Not only marketing, everything that involves business, because marketing is big part of the business, but it's not all, right? The product, the team, it goes a lot into the business. Okay, let's see. Let's watch this one. This is about SaaS, and so this is a guy, one of the most successful indie hackers. I have a very weird opinion about this whole indie hacking game. I don't think that this is the best way to start a business. And I don't really know what is the best way for people to start a business. And quite frankly, I'm just 5 months into my business, so I'm quite new to the whole game. But I don't think that sitting in the basement, coding something, and then trying to launch it, that this is the best way for most people to earn money. I don't think so. I think the best way for people to start the business is service business, where you trade your own skills to teach someone or to do something for like an agency or something like this. Much easier to start for most people, and I think that this is the That's the best way to start, not building and coding SaaS. But I think that building coding SaaS is the second best way to start a business, because it is clearly much, much better than any other things that you can find on the internet, like copywriting, drop shipping, and all of that. All of that, it's not good. It's not good. But okay, building SaaS is already better, because worst case, you're just gonna learn how to code good. Worst case, you're just gonna become a better developer. That's the worst case that happens, right? So there's no downside, basically. And here's another thing: what is the business that you can try building so that you have no downside? What games can you try to play so in all the cases you win, even if you lose? And building SaaS or any platform, I think this is exactly this case. Even if you lose, even if you don't make any money, you still have a project. You still have valuable skills to learn. So there's definitely building SaaS or platform, definitely a really, really good way to start a business. In my opinion, not the best one. Let's see what this guy says. Probably he won't talk about this, but that's my opinion.
2018, I made a call from Japan to a business in the United States, and I sold them a software that I did not create. That's how I made my first internet dollar, and that's how I built a software business that lasted for 5 years and made almost 6 figures in revenue and is still paying the bills today, even though I abandoned it 4 years ago. Hey, I'm Mark. I am a solo entrepreneur, and I build small internet businesses that are now making $50,000 a month in revenue at 90% profit with 0 employee. In this video, I'm going to break down how I created my...
I think 0 employee is a mistake. You can have... So what is the reason why someone would want to have 0 employees? Because you don't want to manage people, right? But the time that you need to manage just 2 people on the team is very low, especially if you have enough revenue to pay them good salary. You can hire really good people. If you just have 2 team members, as I do, you spend... nice. You saw this? You see it? Nice. You spend basically 3 hours of work per week to manage 2 people. But the leverage that you get with a team of 3 people is just so much higher. Like, this idea of having 0 employees, I don't think it's the correct idea. You will gain so much more by having at least a few people, at least one person, hire at least one person. That's gonna be so much better than being completely solo. You will save so much time.
My software without knowing how to code, how I grew it, and what's going on today. In 2018, I moved to Seoul, South Korea. I was there because an high school friend of mine was already there and managed to get $100,000 an investment from angel investors, and he offered me to become the co-founder. We created an AI startup, and we hired 2 employees in this little office in the middle of Seoul, and we were trying to predict the price of flight tickets. We failed miserably. We couldn't deliver anything valuable. But it was a very interesting experience because I learned something about me, which is I want to be 100% free. I don't want employee, I don't want investors. I want to work on my own little project. And so after we moved on, I had 0 income and no savings. So I started to do some side gigs where I would go in movies as an actor in the background. They would pay $200 a day for like 12 to 14 hours of acting. I wouldn't do much. I would just get some makeup and get paid at the end of the day. I would have 1 gig a week, which would pay just enough for me to be able to live and eat in Seoul, South Korea. I started to brainstorm on startup ID that I could work on just by myself. So I would go to this little co-working space in the basement near my house. They would provide free coffee and free snacks, which was really good at the time. Back then, in 2018, Messenger and WhatsApp bots were very popular. So basically, it's automated replies from a business that can chat with the customer to help them. I've been a gamer my entire life, so I thought, why not having some kind of game on Messenger or WhatsApp that could entertain potential customers, give them a discount coupon if they succeed at the game, so that the business could grow. And so I came up with this idea of a messenger bot that would actually be an entire escape room. So you would have a lot of puzzles and riddles that you can play, and if you finish the game, you get a discount coupon. Back then it was just an idea, but now I have to show you the software so you have a better understanding of what I had in mind. So this is a customer of mine on the left side. They would sign up on my website, and then they will connect their
This is a really nice idea, though.
Facebook page. People will be able to play those games once the Facebook page is connected on Messenger. So the bot here is automated. It offers some riddles and puzzles that people can click. If you want to play this game, for instance, there you go. You would have the automated replies from the Messenger bots that will challenge you. You earn some points, and at the end, if you get enough points, you get a discount coupon for the escape room business. I was a terrible programmer back then, and I know it would take some time to build something like this. But luckily, in my co-working space, I met this guy on the right, Andre, which is a very successful marketer, and later became my friend. And he told me, then why don't you just build it before? Why don't you just sell it before you build it? And I had nothing else much at the time. It was very reliable, so I was like, oh, why not? Let's give it a try. So I started to send cold emails to escape room businesses. I would say something like this: I can help you get more traction or get more customers. Usually my cold emails would be 3 lines. I would always add the name of the business owner at the top and try to explain a little bit how this thing works. I sent those emails, and I had to go to Japan for a visa run. I had no money, so I ended up in the cheapest and the tiniest room in Osaka, Japan. But I started to get some replies from those businesses. And one of them wanted to get on the phone call with me, and I did the call, and this changed my entire life. So I was in this room, I was tired, and the call was scheduled for somewhere in the afternoon. The Wi-Fi was bad, so I had to go down in the living room. It was really hot, it was noisy, there were people. I was a terrible marketer and a terrible salesperson, but I jumped on the call, and the call lasted for 42 minutes of cringiness and awkwardness. And eventually at the end, she said, yes, I'm in. And she wanted to move on and get that messenger bot set up for her page, and she asked for the payment page. I sent her the link, and she paid, and eventually she churned just only recently in 2023 after spending almost $5,000 on this messenger bot. So that call entirely changed my life because it was my first dollar online, and without knowing it, after this first phone call, I made $5,000 US. I went back to Korea more motivated than ever. I had paying customers and I had a product to build, but I was a very bad programmer, so I started to find pieces of codes on YouTube and GitHub and try to assemble some product. I would bring my computer everywhere, even when I would do some gigs, and I would build in the bus. Eventually, I ended up building a product that was working, and I also made this little website with some social proof and everything. But I had no idea how to authenticate users, like how to create a proper account. So people would click here, they would end up on a Stripe payment page, they could pay, and then they would have to fill a form that asked for their Facebook page and their email for contacting, and I would manually have to set them up instead of logging them through Facebook and do it automatically. I started to get few more customers, and because we had no reason to stay in South Korea, we moved to Bali with my current girlfriend, who later is now my wife. My days would be really chill. I would spend most of my time building. I had a very specific.
The first thing that you do once you have the first customers move to Bali. That's so interesting. Like, what's about Bali so attractive that people are moving there? Why not Europe? Like, why not Italy, for example? This
Specific time schedule, so I would surf in the morning, and then I would come back and do marketing. So I would do.
Wait. This is interesting. Okay, let's have a look at this. 7:30. So he wakes up at what? At 4. He surfers 5 times a week. He does marketing for 3 hours. Book listening. What is book listening? Okay. And then he works for 2 more hours. Then for 1 more. And then for 2 more. So in total he works what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hours. Man, this is good. We're working 8 hours a day. That's chill. That's nice. And he has built a business like this. This is a confirmation of that you don't need to grind. You just have to work on the right things. You cannot outwork people because there's only just the physical amount of time that you can work. Which I know because in the last 30 days I've been working the most time that you can ever work.
Do cold emails like I did in the past because it worked, and a little bit of Facebook ads. I would also try to take care of my health by doing some stretching and reading books. And on the afternoon, I would work on the product. 90% of my customers would come from cold emails. And as a product guy, I have no idea how to send good cold emails. So I follow this guy, Alex, who writes about sending cold emails that sell. And I would take his templates, personalize them for the industry I was in, so escape room businesses, and I would add some variables like the business owner name and the business name. Then it was a matter of getting leads contact. So I would go on TripAdvisor and type escape rooms in city, and I would end up on their website. And usually on the website of the business, somewhere in here, you would find the contact. If you scroll, you would get the email of the business. A way to improve the conversion rate, it's important to add the name of the person, so the manager or the founder, to make sure that it's personalized. For that, I would go back to TripAdvisor, I would scroll through the review section, and usually a member of the team or sometimes the founder would reply to comments of customers and add their name and sometimes even their business email. I would just get that name here and I would add all the information I collected to a sales pipeline. It's basically a 4-stage pipeline where I would put the new contacts in here, send them one cold email. If they don't reply, I'll send them another one 3 days later, and on and on and on until I send 4 emails. If some of them reply, I would try to engage with them and get them on a Zoom call. Back then in 2018, Zoom was not popular, so it was quite hard. But once they were on Zoom, I knew that 60 to 70% chance they would subscribe for my services. I would collect 10 new leads per day, and I would send also 10 emails per day. And in average, I would get 1 to 2 reply, and I would get 1 to 2 calls a week. I would charge $199 per month for these messenger bots, but I was also experiencing some churn. So I would get some customers, and some other customers would churn, which would at the beginning make my revenue around $1,000 to $1,500 per month. So I started to experience with yearly membership. I would sell the bot for a discount for a yearly price at $2,000 US. And to my surprise, some people actually paid. I would get a sales notification from Stripe that says I received a $2,000 payment, which was massive for me, especially living in Bali where I would live with about less than $1,000 a month. The mini business started to grow a little bit. I would have 10 to 15 customers at the time across the US, the Europe, and Australia. And the business looked like this. It was about $1,000 in 2019, and I would keep growing. I started to implement annual payments here, and eventually it ended up reaching $6,000 in monthly revenue. And then COVID happened in February 2021. Because of COVID, escape room businesses had to close their locations, and I had 2 options. Either I was too greedy and I keep charging them the monthly recurring revenue until they tell me, hey, stop, or I just gave them service for free until someday they will be able to reopen, which is what I did. So I emailed the entire list of customers that I had, and I told them like, hey, I'm not going to collect any payments until things get better. So obviously the revenue went to 0 for 4 months. As you can see here, there's absolutely nothing. I was in Bali back then, which I was pretty lucky because COVID was not really bad and I could surf. And for some reason, I felt disconnected from the business. So I started a YouTube channel about surf just to keep me busy for a couple months, trying to decide whether I'm going to keep working on this business later or not. In August 2020, things started to reopen a bit. So escape room businesses could open their doors and make some money. A lot of them had closed because of like they went bankrupt, or they just, business owners wanted to do something different. So you can see here, things started again, not as crazy as they used to be, but I didn't do any marketing and it was still paying customers from the previous year, 2019. I would make 1.3, 1.5K per month, which is pretty good for here in Bali regarding the fact that I was not doing any marketing. Around this time with my wife, we went back to France and we got married. We eventually got stuck there and couldn't come back to Bali for about a year. Things also went a little bit wrong in my life. I got, I think, depressed and not in the right shoes. So I decided to abandon the business completely. Of course, customers would keep their service. I had nothing to do to provide the service anyway because it was like an API. I was just not doing any new marketing and onboarding new customers. And eventually, it's been 4 years since I haven't touched anything. And you can see here the revenue is slowly shrinking, and it will at some point reach 0 per month, probably in 2024. And now recently, one of my biggest customer churned, bring the revenue down to $200 a month this year. This was Alex. They had 2 locations, and they spent almost 13,000 US dollar on my software, which seems like crazy to me when I think I just got started with a couple of cold emails. This is not a typical Silicon Valley unicorn founder. This is just a random guy trying to make a living with its app in his bedroom. This story led me to where I am today, where I have all the freedom in the world, where I can surf, spend time with my family, spend time with my wife, and take care of my health anytime, while also making $50,000 a month. So whatever this is you have in mind, just get started, because you might be one cold email away from closing a $5,000 client.
Nice. This is awesome. Like, I love hearing those stories. This is it gives me hope. It gives me hope. Now I wonder, I wish he could touch on the feelings, how he was feeling during he was doing this, because when you watch such a video, you feel like the sense that you get is that it was easy for him, and maybe it was, and I wanna hear, because for me building my business feels like an insanely difficult task to do. Like every day it feels like you're lifting 100 kilograms, like you're lifting a huge weight. And so for me it just feels very difficult, both in my head and like physically. So I wonder if for him it didn't feel difficult, and I wonder if there are people who are building business and for them it feels easy. What do they do? What stories they tell themselves? Is it, am I just missing out of something, or is it normal to feel that it feels hard? I don't know. Like for me, like when I listen to this, right? When I listen to such a video, it feels like pam pam pam. So like so easy, 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 and then he earns the amount of money that I have never earned. Like for me to earn that money, I have to work hard. Like I work hard every, I don't know, every evening. I have meetings with my students. Um, every I spend like late evenings working. I rarely work only 8 hours a day and all this. So for me, it feels very very hard. But when you watch those videos, it looks like those people they I mean probably you wouldn't speak about it on YouTube, right? That it felt hard for you. But I wonder, but you get the sense, I get the sense that for everyone else it's so easy to build a business, and for me, for some reason, I struggle. That's the thing. So I wish those people were touching a little bit more on the feeling side. How did they feel? Like, did it feel right? Did it feel easy? Did it feel hard? Like building a software like this and then having basically passively people paying for you. That's so. That's not. That's like that's such a dream for me. This is what I've been doing with this platform basically. But to build out this platform that I want, it's gonna take so much time. It's not something that you can build in a month. Like it's something that's gonna take a lot of time. So I don't know. I have very mixed feelings about those things. They give me like those videos. They give me hope, but it feels so easy for the people when you watch them. Like it feels like they had such a easy walk building their software. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And I mean the best part about business is that you can design it the way you want, right? So you can design it. Um, you can design it so that you spend a lot of time. You can design it so you spend less time. I think I designed it myself. For me, the situation where I have to spend time on calls with people, where I have to work late in the evenings. And this is part of why I'm building such a platform, why I'm going away from this idea of that I have to sell the services. So I think the service business, where you basically go one to one people and help them, is good for starting, but I don't think that this is scalable, and it's maybe not the best, in all the cases, business model. I mean, I think so. Let's for example, there's a guy called Yasmin Yasmin Alik or Alic. He is the biggest LinkedIn creator with almost 200,000 people following him. He definitely has makes really good money out of just here 1,000 for one call, and he is booked out for this month for basically till March, right? So he booked out till March, 1,000 per call. If you have I don't know, for 3-4 calls, I could live a really good life. But for that, you need to be the best on the platform. So you cannot be just like a mediocre someone on the LinkedIn or in any type of other skill and charge this amount of money. So it won't happen, right? And as soon as you're someone like me who is not the number one in programming, for example, you cannot charge crazy amount of money for services that you provide, and it makes you work much more for the services that you provide, which is fine. I mean, obviously that's how it works, right? You have to work something to earn money, but it makes you work also on the. I mean, providing services is a bit draining, so it's a bit draining. It's much better to have some kind of course that you sell, and that's it. It's kind of passive. We don't have to ongoing do something, right? It's much better. So those are my ideas. I don't know. So I'm definitely working on this platform. That's something that I hope is gonna be I hope it's gonna be good. Those are my ideas. Ooh, okay. So what I wanna do today, except of this one, I wanna basically finish today. Finish SQL queries articles. And let's see, maybe I have time for add tasks. Add tasks for SQL. Now, you know what? I'm not gonna add tasks for SQL because SQL queries, they need a different type of tasks that we don't want to implement before the platform launch. This thing, and maybe schedule LinkedIn post. Let's see, but I'm gonna be focusing on finishing this one. So let's turn on the music. It's all very annoying music. let's do something like this. Much better. Much better. Okay, let's go to the admin panel and let's see what do I still need to do. Yeah, the most important for me would be 2 topics. 8 and 9, and I can call child to parent relationship, and parent to child relationship, which is called child to parent child. Yeah, that's the plan. Those two articles, and I'm quite good actually. So the plan is, you can't even see them. You can't even see why no one tells me. Okay, guys, here we go. Like this. Yeah, if I have these two articles, I can also go back and maybe work on the tasks actually. Schedule a LinkedIn post and finish tasks for module 1. And then I'm basically ready with the platform. I do need to record videos, but here's what I think. Should I record videos now, or should I first do the course launch and then record the videos during the course launch? I kind of feel I should rather do it during the course launch. I think so. I'm not sure, but I think that would be a better approach. Because maybe, oh, okay, I still have one thing before we're gonna be done with the content. I'm gonna need to write about triggers, and I'm gonna write here. Create Circle chapter. I think we're gonna be done. That's in progress actually. And the next is write trigger article. Join. Write trigger article. Here we go. I feel the end of this whole thing just a little bit, just this week to go through, and then finally I will stop focusing on the content. I can't wait for this time. Like I don't like writing content at all. And I love focusing on marketing, and that's gonna be so much more even entertaining to watch the marketing part instead of just the content part. Okay, we have group buy. No, this is not. Wait, this is not what I want. I want talk. What is the topic name? Topic 8, child to parent. And another one is parent to child. And I think I already have some parts of it. Let me Google for my Sokol article. And let me ask my ChatGPT to write me an article about Sokol. Hey, welcome. Oh my god, what's going on here with WordPress? Oh my god, Ashish, I don't think it's very appropriate for this YouTube channel. But thank you. Okay, nice. I already have this child to parent. I just need to adjust it. Wait, is it the same song? Yeah, it's the same song. I want this one. No, it's still the same song. How come that? Ah, okay, it's just the same band. Nice. But they sound... Okay, that's fine. Alright. I'm trying not to get distracted. Okay, let's see. So, I mean, that's a good news because I already have those two articles. Just need to basically format them a little bit. Okay, so I'm jumping here around. Let's first focus on this one. Child to parent. Let me test this. Yeah, there's I mean that's something that worth noticing. Not noticing because worth mentioning because there's a really unknown bug in this console, and people sometimes go and check the query. They execute the query and then they wonder why it doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work because it's a bug. Because Salesforce didn't update the developer console for a very long time. Yeah, like this one, for example. How many hours you work off stream? I mean, it's all here in the productivity. Let's see. So far I've worked 4 hours today, and I've been streaming only for 1 hour. And yesterday was a very short day. I only worked 2 hours. And before that, 9 hours. So yeah, I usually stream for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and I work for 9 to 10 hours. So like 7, 8 hours of stream, I would say. Which sucks. Like, it sucks. I should not do that. I should. If you're working overtime, if you're living in any of the Western countries and you're working too much overtime, it means you're working on the wrong stuff. Which I know, but how can I not work more? If the amount of work that I have to do is like so huge, I don't know. I know that's probably wrong. That's probably wrong, but it keeps me going. So, and I also like streaming. So stream, I don't really see it as work. How many languages do you know? What do you mean language? Programming languages? Speaking languages, I speak 4. Alright, that goes much quicker than I expected as well, because I already have so much material, so it's good. Just need to adjust the second one and it's gonna be done. There are also a couple of videos in the Salesforce community that I wanted to react, and I wanted to watch with you guys, but that's gonna be later as well. Once we're done with productive work, we can go and chill on YouTube. Okay, this is good. It's ready. It doesn't. I don't even need to adjust anything. I love those. I love these things. I love when I have in mind that I'm gonna spend the next 2 hours working something. Turns out I already have everything done for that. No need, no follow. And disable. And let's check this one. Example. Awesome. Date. And the previous one, I made it public. I'm gonna make it private. Okay, so the 2 articles are done. Now I need to upload them into MongoDB. And for that I'm gonna open the VS Code. File, new file. What is this? Cloud Code. Ah, okay, Cloud Code. I don't need it. That's Cloud Code. It's a GitHub Copilot competitor, which works not as good. And I think I didn't really fully test it, but it didn't work as well as I wanted. Desktop. Where do I have my Learn Apex.com? Let's create here a new folder and let's code Sokol. And here save as topics.json. Here's an example how a topic looks like. ID, gonna delete ID. Tasks, we all don't have any tasks for the start for this topic. And this topic I'm gonna call child to parent. and next one will be parent to child. Parent to child. The ID. This ID, and order will be 1, and that's gonna be 2. Yeah, I think it's good enough to upload. Insert document. Inserted. Now I'm gonna get their IDs so that I can also insert them into the right lessons. That's the ID of this one and the ID of this one. Okay, and now lessons. So I basically need to insert a new lesson as well. And of course I'm gonna delete the ID, ref circle, topics, and here the topics will be this one. And then this one. The title, relationships in Sokol. Order will be 3. Insert, and let's test it on the website. Okay, this one is not trimmed. As always, these images, they... typical. Okay, alright. This is good. That's good. Okay, so... Mm-hmm. Nice. For a second, I was thinking about how to organize the course that I'm gonna run on this platform so that people can actually go and study on this platform directly. I'm not really sure, but maybe I'm gonna need to rearrange it or restructure somehow a little bit to make it more suitable for actual cohort course. You get this guy's boring. The neighbors above me boring all the time. The internet failing. What can go wrong even more? But you probably can't hear them. But I can. So I had to enable the noise cancelling on my AirPods. All right, this is done. This is done. This is nice. There's still a lot of things that we could include about SOQL queries in general, about this topic in general, but I don't want to. That's enough. That's exactly enough for our purpose. That's exactly enough for the course to run. This is exactly enough for the MVP. So that's gonna be it for the SOQL queries. Here we go. Yes, nice. Let me count how many actually here. So I'm thinking now I need to basically, here's my decision. I've made the decision. I'm gonna run the course first, and then I'm gonna I'm gonna use the platform that I developed for running the course, which is gonna be great because it's gonna allow me to basically let people submit the tasks on the platform instead of checking all the tasks manually. So that's good. Maybe I'm gonna add some additional like projects in the middle. I'm gonna see during the course how it's gonna play out. That's one thing. So the decision has been made. The course will be the first one, then the platform launch. Now a few questions that I have in my mind. First, how do I bring this platform so that it actually helps me running the course? Maybe I should add a page with something like a calendar, something with where everything, all the recordings gonna be saved, for example, is an idea. Maybe I should implement a few other things. I mean, I'm gonna see probably in the next couple of weeks when I'm gonna be preparing the course. I'm gonna see what's missing, and I'm gonna add those things. One last thing that is missing from this whole platform are triggers, and that's gonna be the last topic for the course, because it's quite an advanced topic for a lot of people. So now I need to create the article for triggers, but I think I can put this write SOQL articles into archive. I'm not sure how to move it though. Let me. Congrats on 1 week streaming. Any money yet? Not 1 week, 30 days. 4 weeks. 4 weeks, man. Any money? No. No. Not yet. But money for streaming, what the hell would, like, how would it even look like, money for streaming? Unless I'm gonna be begging here for donations. Money from the business. Money from the business. No, not yet. Not yet. We didn't launch so far. I think best case I'm gonna launch next month. Like, this is the best case. If we are quick, if I work hard, I'm gonna launch next month. Let's say 2-3 weeks, and yeah, 1 week for marketing, for preparing the marketing, 1 week for kicking off the marketing, webinar, the after marketing, and then the launch. Yes, stream is lagging. Okay, so what's the plan for collect? Collect articles on triggers. Create what needs to be covered. What does Salesforce do? Well, you can just Google. What type of app are you building? I'm building a coding school for Salesforce. Now it's gonna be important to create tasks for this one. It's gonna be hard to implement, but it's gonna be still gonna be important. Okay. Let's start collecting the information. So let's see. Triggers in Apex. Triggers, SFTC point, types of triggers, beginner's guide, X hours. Let's have a look at all of them. Hi Spam, hi. What platform are you building the school on mobile web? I am building it on mobile, so that's how the platform looks like. There are lessons, and you can go to the lessons, and you can see here there's some theory, and then you can go and solve some tasks, and the tasks are automatically checked here. But the platform that I'm building, this is gonna be super unique, and the reason for that is because there's no such platform for the language that I'm building it for. It's Apex. For those platforms, they exist for any other programming language, but they don't exist for Apex. So Apex is a Salesforce language. So yeah. Still, I mean, this week, I hope that I'm gonna finish with the whole content. No, not I hope. I have to finish this week with whole content, and I'm quite soon. I'm gonna finish. Like, I only need to write trigger articles, which is gonna be today the whole day, and tomorrow, let's say, a little bit, and then I'm done with triggers and with tasks for triggers. And then what? I need to record a few videos, and that's gonna be Friday plus weekend. And then next week, I'm gonna start with marketing, and it's gonna be fun. Marketing is fun. It's much better. I am so much better at this than creating content, I think. And it's gonna be so much more entertaining to watch. You guys gonna be able to learn a lot of stuff if you stick and watch what we're gonna do from the next week. From this, what I'm doing now, probably you won't learn that much. But if you wanna launch businesses, then watching how to create the marketing, how to create a funnel, how to plan the whole thing, something very, very useful. There's a website that I really like the articles from them, but I forgot the name of them. But I know the founder. The founder is Piotr from Poland. Piotr. This one. Let's see. Beyond the cloud. Beyond the cloud. That's the thing. Let's have a look at triggers. Yeah, triggers. Okay, content plan. So here's everything. So content plan, basically everything that we need to write. And this one definitely goes into the links. Everything that we need to write, and then I'm probably gonna do a to-do list as well. So what is the trigger? Trigger, let's say syntax. Limits. Bulkification. Bulkification. Yep. Validations. Validations in trigger. This is nice. Trigger events. Trigger event table. Trigger context variables. Order of execution. Yep, but let's see. Maybe I'm gonna create my own diagram of the order of execution, but I think I'm just gonna link to Salesforce Ben, Seth Ben. He has much better one. I don't wanna actually create it. Let's call here content. It's the content itself. Okay. Yep, let's say this one's checked. Oh, DML events, and it's important that we include all of them. Because there's delete and undelete triggers that people are not really aware about, but they exist. And it's also important to speak about merge trigger, because merge trigger is actually, there's no such thing as merge in database. There's only update and delete. So merge, basically if you have a merge DML, it results into the two DMLs executed, which is an interesting behavior, and it's quite hard to write a trigger for those type of things. But they also not very frequent. So merge and upsert, they're not happening that frequently. And delete also not frequently, delete not frequently. The most to insert and update. Then we definitely need before and after trigger difference. I would also include triggers and integrations. That's interesting. There are operations that don't invoke triggers. Okay, nothing too interesting here. Bulk triggers, I just spoke about it. Trigger syntax, yep. Triggers in Salesforce. Let's see, what is a trigger? before insert. Context variables I already have written down. Context variables. Variable considerations. Yeah. Recursive triggers. Maybe let's do like this. Triggers best practices, and recursive trigger will be one of them. Also testing triggers. Okay, those are trigger examples, not interesting. I have seen all of that. Okay, it looks like a lot here. What are Apex triggers in Salesforce? Yep, maybe also I need to state here examples of triggers. That's for sure. Okay. That's actually a good article. I like this article. Nah, I don't know. The previous one was actually better. Use a helper class. DML. I mean, that's all is very generic. Yep. Okay, I see. This is good. This is trigger examples, right? This is good. It's good for practicing. All the typical generic. So see, this is what most people in the Salesforce ecosystem do. They create a very generic article that basically just makes a copy paste of the official documentation. Let's create a trigger. This is a trigger, blah blah blah. And can you PayPal me $10? Only if you PayPal me $20. Focus. Salesforce trigger and revenue box. Applications. Bulkifying trigger. It's so vague. Like, it's so... Most articles are so vague. I'm gonna write a better one. Again, the same stuff. Okay, a few examples. 30 Salesforce separate triggers example. Okay, let's see. Oh my god, that's terrible. What the hell is that? What's going on with the formatting? For a second I hope that I can include it into my... Nope, I can't. Looks terrible. Or does it look terrible only here? No, it's just in general terrible. Okay, alright. But that's a nice idea to have different scenarios. Nope. Oh, do they have a whole course on Apex triggers? Oh, should I buy it? To see how they teach it? Bulkify it, logicless. Oh man, I can write better. Like this, that's the thing. So here's what's happening in the Salesforce industry. They have this best practices, right? But this is not. This is like obvious best practices. Those best practices, as soon as you have 1 year of experience, or you have a little bit more experience than just beginner, you look at these best practices and you're like, okay, that's obvious. For example, 1 trigger per object. That's obvious. Like those best practices, they sound like write good code. It is as generic. I wanna write something because there are so much more best practices that actually go way deeper into the triggers than, for example, how to choose. Do you need trigger handlers, or do you need a trigger framework, or do you need a trigger action framework? How to choose between those things? No idea. This article doesn't exist, but it should exist, and it would help so much people. And I'm gonna write this article probably at some point. Let's see. Some considerations. What are the considerations? 1% test coverage mandatory. Ah, that's actually a good point. 1% test coverage mandatory. Nope, delete the link. Remove the link. Okay, not allowed from consideration exercises. Okay. Alright, wrap up. Simple trigger framework, creating trigger summary steps, yep. Remaining events and examples, basics. Okay, triggers introduction. Do they have an example here? Something that we can look at? It's very detailed. If here's one 12 minutes, right?
This course covers what triggers are, common use cases for when they're used versus using other options, how to implement them, of course, best practices, and various considerations. Before we get too far, though, there are some things that you have to know before you really do this course. First and foremost, Apex fundamentals. There's another course that I've done called Introduction to Salesforce Apex. So if you don't know Salesforce too well, I recommend you go do that, then come back and do this. And of course, you should know a little bit about the Salesforce database, including Salesforce objects and their fields, how to insert, update, and delete records via the Salesforce browser. That's pretty common knowledge. And when you delete a record, by default, it goes into the recycling bin. So it's still actually in the database, but kind of hidden from view. And then after a period of time, I think the default's 14 days, then Salesforce actually deletes it from the database. Well, while it's in the recycling bin, one can actually go in there and restore it, aka undelete it. So that's what undelete is. It's when someone goes in the recycling bin and restores it from the recycling bin. And so another important property of triggers is that this does one product or service in particular for almost every customer. So why not just add that to the opportunity when a new one arises? Validation. Triggers can perform any validation a validation rule can, and much more, much more. So first, let me say this, whenever possible, use declarative solutions.
So whenever possible, use declarative solution is the biggest lie in the Salesforce ecosystem. I know that probably not that many people from Salesforce ecosystem watching, but this thing, this is one of the biggest lies in the Salesforce ecosystem. It's not true. Don't use formulas or flows whenever possible, and then whenever impossible, switch to Apex. Use whenever you feel like it's gonna be a better solution. That's the only way I can phrase it. There's so much more that is coming into the decision where to use declarative and non-declarative functions than just can you do it or you can't do it. There's so much more to it. So much more. So it's not I don't this is not but this is what Salesforce says. So this is official Salesforce stance on when to use what, when to use programming, when to use declarative solutions. But it is not real world. Salesforce marketing is one thing, real world in trenches when you're with the client, a totally different thing. Totally different. If you have a validation rule, doesn't mean if you can use something, doesn't mean you should use it.
And so for validation rules, I encourage you to use those first. The validation rule is very powerful. It's declarative. You can have multiple per object. You can turn them on or off individually. So they're very, very configurable and very powerful.
That's true though. If you want to validate something, if you want to have validation rule, usually it's better to use validation rule. But it goes way too extreme in the Salesforce community, like way too extreme. People are using flows whenever you should build Apex. People using flows for making integrations. No, just use Apex. It's not gonna be scalable if you use it with the flow. But if you don't need scale, that's fine. Use flow.
My primary use case is use a trigger when you can't implement the validation using a validation rule. So for example, you want to do child record validation. For example, one can't send an invoice unless it has at least one invoice line. Validation rules, they can use fields on the same record. They can use fields from one of the parent records, but you can't do anything with child records. So you have to use code. You can query the child records on pretty much the updated invoice in this case to see if there's any invoice lines. If not, then you can prevent that invoice from being sent. Another common thing is deletion validation. Validation rules do not fire on delete currently at this time. It's been an outstanding idea for years. So another common use case for trigger is deletion validation. For example, perhaps you don't want to allow an order to be deleted if it has ordered lines on it. And I'm trying to think of another good case for validation. Sometimes, and this probably goes a little bit to the next use case, but if you've got some really complex validation, validation rules are great, but if it gets too with them all, but definitely look at flows as kind of your primary declarative tool. Of course, validation rules, and primarily because they're easier to.
This gives me a lot of hope. I have a better material on triggers. I'm gonna record a better course. I'm gonna make a better course. I'm sorry, Salesforce Ben. I appreciate you guys a lot. And I didn't know that that's Luke, because Luke looks very different actually on the picture here. But nice to see Luke here. I'm gonna build a better course, and the reason for that is because it's my main focus. I am not focusing on anything else. Salesforce Band focuses on the platform basically. I am focusing on one thing, creating the best possible course on Apex for every possible topic. It's hell a lot of work. It's hell a lot of struggle, but at the end, at some point, I will create the best course. And on this note, I understood how they explain it. I see a lot of potential in what they have. It's a very very detailed explanation around triggers, and it's good. And I know why people take it, and I know a few of my students take their courses, and I also have the Apex course that they have. It's really, really good because it goes really into the detail of a lot of things that I often omit to make it shorter and more digestible for people. But they really go into a lot of details, and it's good. It's good. I need to learn from the way they do it. It's really good. But nevertheless, I'm still gonna build a better one. And there's nothing bad in it. There's nothing. There's no. I don't fight or like or like I don't know. So I really really love the Salesforce Ben and Ben the team, and Ben is my hero. Ben is my I admire Ben a lot, and yeah, maybe at some point we should just partner with them, because I think they're losing here on opportunity on creating really good training material. But let's see. Let's see. First I need to launch the course. First I need to launch the course. I need to write my own training materials. I need to prove that I can actually create the best material on the internet about triggers, the best teaching material on the internet about triggers. Another one who is good in teaching is FTC 99. And the trigger that they have there, this is just such an iconic article. I don't know how many views this article has, but if not millions, then I don't know, definitely a lot. David is the superstar. I bet if David would still continue doing his videos and his courses, he would definitely do something similar to mine, because I see a lot of visualization here, and it looks like he likes visualizing things. And I think visualization and visualizing things is such a big part of learning anything. What is Salesforce trigger? Mm-hmm. Nice. I really like the language, the way David writes. I really should learn this type of language. It's easy to read. It's very easy to read. That's really nice. One of the biggest advantages with being born with a native speaker in English is that it's much easier for you to write things, and you don't need to rely that much of other people proofreading you. You can pretty much sure you can be sure that what you write at least sounds understandable. Um, yeah, being native in English is such a big advantage, and people who are born just speaking native not born but like who grew up speaking being natives in English, they don't, yeah, they don't know what kind of superpower they have. It's a huge superpower. It's superpower not only for writing but also for just YouTube. You can produce. So for me now, speaking English, it's not very smooth way. Like my brain is not wired in speaking English. I have to think all the time about how can I say this word in English? How can I say this word in English? Um, And for me, it's twice as hard to do anything YouTube related or any content related than for people who are born English speaking, which doesn't mean anything. I still can succeed in all of these things. It's just gonna be harder for me. But I still can succeed in YouTube. I still can succeed in content creation. Being native in English doesn't mean that it gives you an advantage, but if you don't use the advantage, someone who even has the disadvantage gonna be better than you. Even if he or she have to put the double of the work. Yeah, okay, I think I saw enough. I think I saw enough. Now I'm gonna open my think about think number 11. That was, or wait, I had somewhere a post about triggers. Okay, trigger handlers. I had somewhere a post about triggers. Yep, triggers in Apex. Yeah, I think it's good. So first, what is a trigger? What is a trigger? Trigger. Let's start with just going quite far away. Salesforce is just a database. There are only three operations we can do, we can perform on data. Update data, create new data, or delete data. Data, not date, data. Right? So Salesforce is a big database, and you can only do those three things. You can either update something, or insert something new, or delete something. That's it. You cannot, there's physically nothing else in this regard. How do I say peace? And this is an example of me being not native in English. Is it peace, or is it peace, or whatever? For me, it's all the same word. Okay, so this is peace. Okay, that's not what I want. Ah, no, this is what I want. Peace. Okay. Let's see, somewhere I had... Yeah, okay. So, like this. With just E without A. Before we dive into triggers, I don't know. So I need to speak here about two things: about the order of execution and about this what I already have. As always, let's just write down everything, whatever I have in my mind. Let's just everything write down and then decide what I want to keep and what do I want to not keep. Let's add here subtopic and call this subtopic order of execution. Now let me put the music back. So I want to ask ChatGPT, basically what happens here is that we have two main steps, right? The first, Salesforce takes the record, and first it saves to the database. Then it executes all the other triggers, and then it commits everything to the database. And I kind of don't have a straight answer in my head. Why do we need the saving step? Why can't we just commit immediately? Hi, can I see a demo of the website? I mean, you can just watch the old videos, and then you can see the demo there. Let's see what GPT we're gonna say. Ah, okay. This is okay. I remember this principle, asset. Oh yeah, I remember it from my university courses on databases. Atomicity, consistency. This part is of asset properties database transaction. Transaction is atomic. It either happens in full or not at all. By committing all DMLs, action twice at the end of the process, Salesforce ensures that all changes resulting from the transaction are consistent and leaves the database in a stable state. I understand what all steps do, but why do we need the first step in first place? What could go wrong if we did all the validations without pre-saving data? Just directly committing everything after. This is definitely just a database concept where you first kind of pre-save the data in database to make sure. I mean, I kind of understand it, I just cannot really put it into words. You, like, that would be very strange. It's like having a Wi-Fi without a password or something. You want to save the data into database to see if the data is actually the database conform. Like, is it the data, does it even fit into the table that you're trying to save it, right? This is actually very interesting. The dirty read. I remember those things. Vaguely. Dirty read. Dirty read occurs when transaction reads the data that has not been committed. Let's Google it. Why do we need to commit data in the databases? It's definitely just the database concept in general. Transactions, yeah. Let's see. Let's read those things. Database. I think Salesforce uses Oracle database because they initially started from people who were working in Oracle. They all transactional databases, and Salesforce is a transactional database as well. Well, maybe this is worth including for people who gonna read about triggers, that because I mean trigger in itself, it's a database concept. It's not Salesforce concept, it's a database concept. And this concept goes from definitely just databases. I'm gonna say here, if you want to learn more about databases, you can read this article, because trigger concept is actually it's actually much more a database concept than a Salesforce concept. Okay, so transaction is a logical unit that generally includes several low-level steps. If one step of the transaction fails, the whole transaction fails. A database transaction is used to create, update, or retrieve data. You know what, guys? I realized I haven't made a single break for more than 2 hours. Let me do a small break. When I was reading it, I was like, damn, I really want a coffee. I see the coffee here and I want to drink it. But for that, I would say I'm gonna make a coffee break. Now is 15:28 till, let's say, 15. Let's say 38. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Is it good with you guys? 10 minutes? I'm gonna even increase the music. I hope you're okay with that. Alright. 10 minutes break. I'm still gonna be able to see what you write. Okay, let me make a little bit bigger break actually, because there's one thing that I noticed that I didn't do: the washing machine. after after I make it empty, then I can continue till 45. That's more fair. Well, I'm back. Almost on time. Almost. And that's, as always, it's funny that when I have a coffee break, for whatever reason, I see a spike in viewers. And like, let's say, usually the stream is viewed by, let's say, 5 people at this point. Whenever I make a break, the stream is viewed by like 10 people. It's quite funny. Like, that's strange. That's strange, guys. Maybe I should talk less, and then you're gonna be watching more. Just an idea. I don't know. Let me mix my coffee. I have a theory why it happens, because people, when they turn on the stream, they only hear the music, and it's much easier to leave out the music on the background than to leave out me talking all the time. And then they look at this and they're curious what's gonna happen once I go back. And I go back and they're like, okay, now I know what's gonna happen, so I'm gonna turn off. That's my theory behind why it happens. Let me check that everything is actually online. Twitch. Yo, Twitch works. Nice. Okay, so what we've been doing is writing an article about triggers and learning about databases actually, but so that I can explain better triggers. That's why I'm learning about databases. But not to jump straight into the work. I wanna have a look at Salesforce ban video about layoffs. That's quite interesting because I made a reaction about layoffs, but I also want to see what Ben knows because I really admire Ben a lot. Ben has built one of the most successful Salesforce businesses, and it's around content. So we are like, I admire Ben a lot. Ben is a great entrepreneur, and he has a really good personality. I don't know. I'm just such a fan of Ben. So let's check out what he thinks about layoffs, or maybe why he thinks Salesforce do the layoffs. I don't know why. Like I won't even start guessing why. I just know that it's not good for the Salesforce ecosystem. But I know that Salesforce has the right to do it. Why not? Salesforce is a business. Let's see.
Unfortunately, 2024 has kicked off with a similar theme to last year, sweeping layoffs across most of the technology industry. TechCrunch has reported over 23,000 layoffs in January alone, from companies including Google, Microsoft,
I hope you can hear
eBay,
it.
SAP, and now Salesforce. The Wall Street Journal reported on Friday, January 26th, that Salesforce will be laying off 700 workers, which is roughly 1% of their global 70,000 workforce. This is in addition to last January's announcement that the company would be laying off 10% of its employees, which was roughly 7,000 at the time. While last year's layoffs were in response to overhiring during the pandemic, as confirmed by CEO and co-founder Mark Benioff, there is as of yet no confirmation as who will be laid off in this latest round. The current state of the tech world seems to be in a juxtaposition with these layoffs, as some stock market tech darlings are helping the S&P 500 to hit record highs. Meta, Alphabet, and Microsoft stock prices have all climbed to new heights, with Salesforce not far off. This does indeed beg the question, why are these layoffs happening?
Well, really? I didn't know that. So, is the stock market really now on the highest level? That would be so wrong, because we are now in the kind of recession, aren't we? Look at this. It is at the high. Look at this. This is crazy. This is crazy. I don't think it's a good sign. I don't think. I think it's a bad sign for the economy. we are now definitely in very difficult economical time. And seeing the stock market being quite disconnected from that, I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm not economist, but it doesn't sound right.
An interesting article by TechCrunch called Yes, the Tech Layoff Surge You Are Feeling is Real looks at data from layoffs.fyi and tries to form a conclusion. Potential reasons include wider economic factors, the removal of resources that may be replaced by AI, and cutting any bloat following the hiring boom of the pandemic. All of these factors seem plausible. While stock market prices are at an all-time high, we are yet to see key quarterly earnings data from some of these tech leaders. This will give us some insight into the economic recovery as well as the impact of early AI-enabled products such as Microsoft's Copilot, of which Microsoft's financial earnings are coming out this week. However, since Salesforce's own Copilot products won't be released until the end of February, it's doubtful these will have any significant impact on their financial year end, which closes on Wednesday, January 31st. So what does this mean for the Salesforce ecosystem? The fact that Salesforce is so tightly tied with the rest of its ecosystem doesn't need an explanation. We've seen this play out over the past couple of years as Salesforce's revenue growth has slowed and layoffs have occurred, which has in turn created an unstable job market in the Salesforce community. Unfortunately, this is probably the first time the Salesforce job market has ever been affected. One of the more plausible reasons for this latest round of layoffs is Salesforce's focus on performance culture, which was fleshed out in a recent Bloomberg article called Salesforce Signals the Golden Age of Cushy Tech Jobs is Over. As with most other hardcore sales companies, the performance of salespeople is closely monitored. Bloomberg has reported that Salesforce performance improvement plans will be put in place after a few months of not hitting the right numbers, as opposed to quarters. With all this in mind, I highly doubt this fresh round of layoffs should cause any more concern to Salesforce professionals, although it's important to bear in mind that while layoffs have been fairly abundant over the past year within the ecosystem, they seem to be getting less frequent. With global inflation slowing and interest rate cuts on the horizon, economic recovery does seem to be around the corner. And with AI pegged to fuel this next stage of growth, we'll have to see for ourselves how this plays out over the next few months, especially as quarterly earnings are delivered, as well as more and more AI-enabled products are being rolled out.
I really hope, because I'm quite sick of those inflations and this heavy tech market. I hope that we will bounce back in not 2024, maybe 2025, at least 2025. So here's what's happening. Where's my escalator? Coffee break, done. So here's what's happening. If this is the Salesforce, right? This is Salesforce, right? The way Salesforce has an impact on the whole industry, obviously, because this is the platform that everything is developed on the Salesforce. What type of business do you want to start? I'm writing the coding school. For the Salesforce. That's why we're discussing the Salesforce part. So the Salesforce, it works closely with partners. They have partners. Basically, what partner means is, let's say you're a company that is using Salesforce, right? Let's say you're Coca-Cola. Let's say, just without naming, let's say you're a company that uses Salesforce, right? So you're a company that uses Salesforce. And Salesforce in itself, it's kind of hard to implement. So Salesforce, you cannot really implement unless you have a really developer knowledge. So only specialized people in the Salesforce itself can implement Salesforce for you. So if you're a company that uses Salesforce, let's say you're a sugar company and you're using Salesforce, what first you're gonna do, because you bought the Salesforce, you're gonna go and ask Salesforce, hey Salesforce, can you write for me an implementation? Can you develop for me this business process that I want? And then they're gonna say, no, we don't really do that. Go and speak to one of our partners. And if you have a certain size of the company, you will actually get business from Salesforce. Not all the time, but in a lot of cases, especially if you have some kind of niche knowledge. So they're gonna say, hey, no, you know what? Speak to our partner. Hello, everyone on YouTube. So speak to our partner. And you will be working with partners, right? So the companies actually, as a developer, now let's imagine you're a developer here. Dev. You're a developer, right? You're a developer. Chances are you will be working at such a company. So you will most likely work here in the consulting. So if you work in consulting and Salesforce layoffs their own people, it doesn't really have influence on this part. So Salesforce in itself, laying off people doesn't have a direct impact on the job market. But it has a very indirect impact. And the indirect impact is that it depends also what kind of people they lay off. If they lay off developers, consultants, admins, which they have not that many, then it's one thing. If they lay off salespeople, it means that probably they're gonna bring less of growth, right? So the growth slows down. It means that for partners, there's less work to do. So that drives the competition, and this is how, if there's less projects to do, they have to fire people as well, and that all basically snowballs. So if the layoffs, they are part of Salesforce slowing down the growth, that's going to have an impact. But the layoff itself doesn't have any impact on the direct impact on the industry as for people who are working there, except of those people who were laid off. But those people who were laid off, they're going to easily find another job, especially if they're in US. Because in US, if you have ever worked in Salesforce, such a big company, working in Salesforce, it's like working in Google or something. You will find some job. Maybe not as good, as well paid, maybe not as good as Salesforce, but you'll find some job. So I think those people will be fine. Still sucks though. I already made a separate video on what I think about those layoffs. Still sucks. Still not good. I hope that the tech market gonna bounce back, but maybe no. And I really agree with Salesforce Ben that first, it's not a big layoff, right? If we go back, where do we go back? Where is this? Yeah, to this layoffs. We can see that the layoffs in the Q1 of 2024 are so small. Like, look at this. Wait. Wait, this is actually more than the last time. There have been new layoffs probably. Look at this. This is already substantial. Like the last time I checked, I think it was something like this. Okay, so this is just by months. This is just by month. That's why it looks like this. And this is by quarters. Yeah, I wouldn't say it looks good because the Q1 just started just 1 month. So it's only 30% of Q1. And look at this, how it looks already. So it's already more than previous months. So I wouldn't say it looks like recovery of the tech market. Like, it really doesn't. Here, if you close here this part, if you close till November 2023, it kind of looks like, or even December 2023, it kind of looks like recovery, right? Because we went through a lot of layoffs and going down. But now, look at this bounce back. I hope it's not gonna continue rising here. I hope it's gonna be like just 1 month, and then we still gonna go into the reduction of layoffs. And again, the layoffs itself, they don't have they don't have that much direct impact on the Salesforce ecosystem. But still not a good thing. I wish we didn't have them. I wish we had 0 layoffs. And looking at the economy, I don't know if you guys feel it, but I do feel a big downturn in the last 2 years. I can do less with the amount of money I have. I have to work more to just be able to afford the same things. When I went to Germany, especially in Munich, when I just came to Germany, I could afford living in Munich quite comfortably by working just 16 or 20 hours a week. Now, if you're working full time, having just a normal salary, you will be living okay, but not good. So now you have to work much more time, let's say 30 hours a week to be able to afford to live, not 20 hours a week. So the life definitely went less good. Definitely much harder life now. I hope the economy will go back. Okay, should we do some databases actually? And imagine I started a business during the last 2 years have been the most difficult years for economy that I lived through. And I started business exactly in this time. What a timing. What a timing. Okay, let's do the transactions. So let's read about how databases handle transactions in general, and then see if we can take some principles to the database. Just a second. I'm gonna be back just in 1 second. Let's read about database. Okay, so those asset properties. So basically they say that database transaction ends with a commit or rollback. This is good. This is good. I kind of think we should include it in my explanation because it's a really big part of general. Oops, what did I just click? Audacity. Yeah, I think it's a big part of understanding what is a trigger, is understanding how databases work. So maybe I'm not gonna write it. Okay, so I'm not gonna write it. I'm just gonna include this one. Yeah, I think it's good because so what I write here, because a trigger concept is actually much more database concept than pure Salesforce concept. Make sure to read this article to understand about transactions in databases on a much deeper level. And I can do here some kind of TLDR for people who don't want to read it. TLDR of the article. Transaction. Transaction is what? What is transaction in databases? What is a transaction in databases? Because the concept of transaction in databases and in Salesforce is exactly the same. Let's see. DB visualizer. It's exactly the same article. What the hell? Yeah, I know it's way too deep. I need some like general purpose, generic explanation. What is a transaction? Transaction is a unit of work that either succeeds or fails. It's too vague. It's a unit of work that is executed as a whole Let's ask ChatGPT. Can you explain? Can you not explain? Give a definition. No, make a strict definition. This is good. As a single operation, ensuring that all data modification with it either succeeds or fail altogether. Altogether. All operations within transaction are either completed successfully or not completed at all. Consistency. You know what? I'm not gonna write it. They can read it in the article. I think this TLDR is good. I think that's fine. And And here, why is it important to understand databases for triggers? Because a trigger is actually much more a database concept, is a database concept, and everything in the trigger, yeah, okay, is a database, let's say, is a well known database concept. In Salesforce, we are using triggers without thinking about the database. But it's because Salesforce is a very, how to put it in words? Basically, Salesforce is a very fancy, is a high level database, is very abstract, is kind of a next level of abstraction over a database. But because Salesforce is the next level of abstraction of a database, mm-hmm. hides a lot of how to say it, behind this, behind, I wanna call it behind the scenes functionality. Bram, hello. Let's call it databases basics. Yeah, slowly we are moving with the article. Nice. I like how it looks. So basically we need both of the steps. First we commit them, then no, first we save them, then commit. Because we want to be able to implement also rollback. We also want to make sure that the data that we are actually saving to database, that it's still consistent. Doesn't Salesforce have an issue where they break their APIs? No. How? For 4 years, sometimes they have a shitty API. That's true. But for my 4 years career with Salesforce, I have never seen that they break their own APIs. I'm good. Thank you for asking, guys. Salesforce is awesome. Salesforce is really nice. Mm. It hides a lot of things though from you. Like, if I didn't study computer science at the university, I wouldn't know those things about databases, or I wouldn't be able to understand them properly. But I remember those things from my university days, so I can kind of remember them. But if you're working as a Salesforce developer for quite a time, you don't understand those things because Salesforce is so abstracted away for you as a developer that you don't really work with those things, which is good for businesses because it allows you to onboard people who are not that deep into databases, and it allows them to build really good solutions. But it's not bad, but it's not good for you as a developer because you don't learn the basics. Basically, have to go and learn the basics somewhere else, or know them already before. Malformed, is it a word in English? Malformed. Yep, that's a word. Okay, now here I can include few screenshots. Okay, and here we still can roll back. Before triggers and after triggers. Combining with possible DML operations, we have 7 trigger types in total. And here gonna be an image. This one. Why not 8? Because undelete trigger is only supported for after event. Everything. Okay. I'm kind of thinking how to structure the article. I think this one was by far the best article that I found. This one, let me show you. This one. Definitely also gonna include the limits, and definitely gonna include this table as well. But there's still a lot of stuff that needs to go before, because the structure of this should be different, because I don't wanna teach concepts. So I don't want to teach concepts before. You cannot use the stuff that you didn't talk about. Like, you need to go step by step and build step by step everything. What is the trigger? Order of execution. Let's call it before and after triggers. Because of the two steps, two different stages of triggers. So what is your business going to sell? Well, I have so I'm coding. Here's my platform that I'm doing. So basically, the idea behind this platform is that you go on this platform, and from complete beginner in coding, you go into being good at coding, or maybe even get your first job. Well, so this task, it is mainly not the platform task. It is mainly just creating content. So this is a content problem. That's what my platform is gonna be doing. So I'm creating the content, and you see how much time it takes, and I'm creating content based on the content that I already have for my teaching, right? So it's not as difficult as when I have to create completely from scratch. So this platform, mainly the biggest problem will be the content, and I'm gonna need to team up or hire people to help me with the content. Otherwise, it's gonna be just many years of grinding content to create such a platform, which is still possible. But I kind of wanna team up with other people, and to get money for that, I'm gonna first launch my course on my live course on this topic. There's something that I've been doing before, so I know how to do that. So that's not the difficult part. Yep, that's what I'm gonna be selling. And I hope that this platform, so basically first, this platform gonna be a part of the already existing business of me teaching. And then I'm gonna take this platform and I'm gonna try to spin it out into separate business. Let's see if that's gonna work though. I always dreamed about having some kind of automatic platform where you write the code gets automatically checked for the Salesforce. The thing doesn't exist in Salesforce, and we do need to create this thing. So why choose your platform over the 10 other platforms? No, there's not a single platform like this one for Salesforce. Like this for Java, for Python, for everything, but not for Salesforce. That's the thing. It's gonna be the first one. Well, unless someone of the competitors makes it quicker than I do, which is possible, but from my understanding, only 2 people working on it currently. And from my perspective, I'm the most far in developing such a platform. But there are definitely also people working on similar thing. It's not out yet. So far it's the only one platform. Which speaks about that we should bring it as quick as possible to the market. So because if you anchor that you are the first one, that definitely gives you competitive advantage. If I'm the first one to develop such a platform, that's gonna be definitely good. It's better to be the first one than the second or third one. But it's impossible that such platform exists for all the other programming languages but doesn't exist for Salesforce. So it should exist for Salesforce. And that's what I'm currently on. So why choose Salesforce over, for example, JavaScript platforms? No, if you want to learn JavaScript, you go to the JavaScript platforms. But what do you do if you want to learn Apex? Of course, I mean, this everything that I do, it's not intended for people who just want to learn how to code. Like that's not for them. That's only for people who are already in Salesforce and want to learn Apex. If you want to learn JavaScript, you have a lot of different options. If you want to learn Java, Python, any other programming language, you have so many options. But what if you want to learn Apex? Zero options. Okay, so why not 8? Because undelete trigger is only supported for after event. Yes. Also, note on that, undelete, and delete triggers are rarely used in practice. In fact, in my 4 years of working as a Salesforce developer, I've never seen a single project with them. And that's true. I never seen undelete or delete triggers. I can imagine an example with the delete triggers, but undelete, that's very strange. Like with the delete, you can, for example, run some cleaning operations with the delete. Like you delete an invoice and you want to delete invoice line items or something in this regard. Or you delete a customer and you want to delete all the invoices that belong to the customer. That's with the delete. But undelete, I don't really know any use cases for undelete. I would be happy if someone shares for me undelete stuff. I'd be super curious to know about undelete. Okay. Okay. Here I also need to speak when to use after, when to use which one. Exactly. Redo the cleanup you did on delete. Yeah, but like, what is the use case of undelete operation? Why would you need a separate trigger for that? I have never seen a business need in it. Undo. I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense. If you have some kind of, you can reverse those things. But I have never, again, I have never seen it in like real business need in those things. Okay, so in most cases we use after triggers, and after you. There's no rule on when to use which type. We can make approximate rule. Approximate rule before complex validations, complex formulas, no relationship needed. Before used to create complex validations or formulas. Also, you can't. Okay, this is something that I'm gonna write separately. Okay, I'm gonna write separately. After used for most logic. Also in before triggers, we don't have the ID of the record. So we can't write any logic that requires or involves relationships. Involves. No idea how to write involves in English. Involves. Involves. I think it's good enough about before and after. It's definitely good enough. It goes so much quicker than I expected. We are basically done with already a couple of them. Order of execution, before and after the different trigger. What is a trigger? Yeah. I'm quite sure I will be able to finish at least a half today. That's nice. What should I do? Should I do the bulkification now? Let's not think. I'm not gonna think. I'm just gonna write whatever I think. I can reorder them anyway later. Bulkification. Okay, it's a core concept. Now, what can I say about this core concept? It's important that this concept, it only applies if we have any type of modification that is done not from user interface. So if we have anything that is updated or inserted from a flow or from another trigger, for example, or for Apex from API, then we have the bulkification concept. But if we only have updates from user interface, then the bulkification doesn't matter. Yeah, bulkification probably gonna go at the end, because to explain bulkification, I need to explain what are context variables. Yeah, because I need to explain what are the context variables. Context variables. And for the context variables, I need to explain trigger syntax basically. And I think it's time to explain trigger syntax. I think it works well here into this, because we already explained a lot of theoretical concepts that kind of lead into this. Now we actually need to show how can you write the simplest trigger. Now I also need to make a disclaimer somewhere that the way that those triggers in these examples, they are not best practice triggers, because actually writing best practice triggers requires much more than that. So the triggers here, just simple triggers. It is not the best practice to write trigger logic in the trigger itself. The best practice is to have a trigger handler. So I'm not gonna. This is a disclaimer that I'm gonna write here somewhere. Database base. Okay, no, let's write it here. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna write it here. Important. The triggers that we use in this example are not industry best practice that you would use in the production. We will cover how to write proper triggers in the next topics. Let's just focus on core concepts of triggers to understand them properly. Here's how you can define a trigger on the account object. And let me go to the Salesforce. Where is my Salesforce? Am I still logged in? Yep. Open. Oh, I don't have any triggers. Nice. Let me create one. No, let me see what triggers am I using in my teaching, and then account trigger. Yep. Okay, I think it's actually a good one. If you are using developer console. Okay, if you're using developer console, here's how you can go. You go file, new file, new Apex trigger. Apex trigger. If you're using VS Code, you need to, what is it, left click or right click? Right click, right? Yeah, right click on the trigger folder or create one. and click on, and now I don't remember the exact name. The exact name would be triggers, create Apex trigger, SFTX, create Apex trigger. In both cases, you will create by default something like this. And trigger name. The name of your can be anything. How do I say it in English? Can be anything, and basically the same rules apply as creating a class. As for the class naming, I would say that's the class naming. That's correct. Account must be the API name of your object. If you have a custom object, then it should, because it's an API name, it should include __c. Hi, you're still live. I am still live. This is what taking only one day off makes. I have so much energy today that look at this. I have written so much and I've done the other tasks today. So just one day off, and not even the full day, just one basically half day off. So take days off, take weekends. That helps. I bet some internet gurus would say for me, no, you have to grind, you weak bastard. Go and grind. No week off, no weekends, no holidays, no days off until you have 1 million on your bank account. Do you have 1 million? No, go into work. Separated by comma. Are you familiar with OpenCV? No. OpenCV. What's OpenCV? Open Computer Vision Library. Why would I be familiar with that? IE Consulting, AI University opens. Okay. Okay, that's some AI stuff. I don't know. I'm not. Python for beginners for free. Ah, okay. They have a lot of free courses. Let's see. That's way off from what I'm doing. That's way off. Is there anything specific you think is good from this OpenCV? Maybe at some point I'm gonna take my coding school and I'm gonna implement some AI features. Would be nice. Would be nice marketing. Like, we have AI. No, it's gonna be not only the first coding platform on about Apex. It's gonna be the first AI platform for coding with Apex. Yeah, it's pretty good. Where's my music? Can you hear that? I hope you can. Let me check when I have the next meeting, because I don't want to miss a student because of that. No, I have next meeting. Okay, I still have time. Yeah, actually writing about triggers goes quite well, because I have explained this topic for so many times already for my students. Okay, let's make here an example of a trigger. Do I have an example here? I'm unable to implement it in my Android app, and there isn't much resource available on the internet. Okay. Yep, I'm definitely not a help there. Definitely not a help. Okay, so best practices we're gonna go over later. I need to give an example here of a trigger. What can a trigger do, for example? Let's code quick an example. Let's quickly code an example. So, a new Apex class, and I'm gonna call it account trigger. Whenever an account is created, create a new task in the system to check if in the system to remind the account creator to check the data, to check the data of the account. Okay, so let's write absolutely bad trigger that you should not write in the real world, but it's gonna teach the concept of the trigger for people who gonna read it. List tasks, and here we're gonna use context variables, and that's something that I'm gonna explain right after I show this example. Insert tasks. before, and we're gonna iterate over all the accounts. Account from trigger.new, and here I'm gonna create a new task, and let's say task subject will be check the data. Task, let's say description is gonna be don't, oh my god, don't forget to check the data. It doesn't really matter what I'm gonna write there. Task dot priority gonna be medium. Task and I forgot, is it what ID or is it who ID? You never know with the Salesforce. What ID? I think it's who ID. No, let's do what ID. I think it's what ID. Let's relate it. So we want to relate it to the account.id. And now we're gonna add this tasks add here. Let's see if that's gonna save. What's going on here? What's going on? What's wrong? Do I miss a semicolon or something like this here? Wait. This is a class. This isn't. Okay, delete. New trigger. No, my god. Account trigger, and it's gonna be on the account. How I didn't notice that it was a class. Before insert, let's make it after insert. Because if we wouldn't have the after insert, if we would have before, we couldn't use the account ID. Okay, now it works. Let's put it here. Okay, we have trigger.new. We're using here trigger.new. It is a context variable that we will discuss in the next topic. Nice. So I think it's a good article so far. And I have how many topics I have? So I have limits, trigger syntax, validations and trigger. No, I don't really have validations and trigger. Let me add error. yeah, guys, that's gonna be it in terms of what we're gonna do today, because now soon I have a meeting with one of my students and I'm gonna need to be there. So what did you write here in the chat? Ah, yeah, okay, you wrote about this open CV. I thought it's some kind of software for checking the CV. I thought, and I was quite excited actually. I thought it's a kind of AI CV checker. Is there such thing as AI CV checker? AI resume checker, get your resume score now. Yeah, that's a good one. So you upload the resume, you get the score. That's nice. That's nice. I thought about building some kind of API, or using some kind of APIs of these guys, and building it for my website as well. Like where you basically upload a CV, and we can pre-upload some best practices for the Salesforce. Because in Salesforce, CV for the Salesforce can be a little bit different from all the other fields, because you also need to consider your certifications, for example, right? So certifications are important for Salesforce. What else? I don't know what else. I think that's it. That's the most important part. That is different. That is different for Salesforce. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Definitely would be really nice to include some kind of AI features, but we need to be really smart about it, because it's definitely costly so far. It's gonna take quite a bit of time to develop, so we need to be smart about what AI features we would include. But I think that it's possible to develop something with OpenAI API that will be quite beneficial for people who learn. Yeah, guys, so I think that's it for today. That was a good stream. It was nice, really nice chatting with you guys. So I guess I see all of you tomorrow, because I will be streaming. So today was my day number 30, and tomorrow gonna be 31, and then 32, and then 35, and then 40, and like this, unless something super huge happens and I have to skip a day. But I think I don't plan on stopping. So thank you everyone, thank you for sticking with me, and see you tomorrow.